Clutch Trucker filmed before a live and furry studio audience. Rusty, the world-famous meatball dog. Hey YouTube, Clutch Trucker here. Thanks for tuning in to another edition of the Clutch Trucker channel. Parked here at the TA in Elkton, Maryland, right near the Delaware border. Got to deliver down in Dover, Delaware, the city that means well. I asked if anybody knew. I did a reference to that on, I think it was on Twitter or Instagram, wondering if anybody knows what that's from, and Beth, she got it. It's an old George Carlin bit from his comedy album, I think A Place for My Stuff. He does this comedy game show, Assholes, Jerk-Off, Scumbags. Very funny. And he said the winner will win a trip to Dover, Delaware, the city that means well. And they'll go there in the Speed Merchant 5000, the only wheelchair with a roll bar. Anyway, don't deliver till 1:30 tomorrow afternoon, so I'm killing time again. So I thought I'd do a quick video. Mainly because now that we finally know who the president is, it's Biden, it's not Trump. I'm not going to, share political views or anything, because that's just a slippery slope, baby. Don't want to get on that, okay? All I can say basically is, as far as politicians, I hate all politicians. I think they all need to die. Okay, that's a little drastic. I don't trust any of them. If you're a politician, I don't trust you. I'm sorry. Because a politician will never give a straight answer. You ever notice that? They'll have a dog, hold up a dog in front of them. Is this a dog? And they'll say, well, it appears to have fur, and, because of that, I might, yes or no? But anyway, so I have a problem with all politicians. Anyway, what this is about is the new hours of service, of course, just got changed, and it actually gives us some flexibility for the first time in years. I just used it, as a matter of fact, on Friday, when I had to go deliver at the Purina in Crete, Nebraska. I stayed the night over in Roca, Nebraska, 15 miles away. Drove over there. They were taking a little while to get me unloaded, so I went ahead and just went in the sleeper berth, and I spent 3 hours there. So that stopped my clock. So then I had to go pick up in Omaha, and I drove as far as I could, which was to Knightstown, Indiana, basically. And if I hadn't been able to stop my clock with that, I wouldn't have been able to make it that far. So that was really nice. I was able to extend my 14 and make it farther the first day, so I could try to show a 34 over the weekend, all right? That was the whole goal. And of course, then after that, I took a longer break, so it didn't really matter, right? I took at least a 10. So that 7 that I needed to do afterwards in the sleeper berth was rolled into that 10. Like I always said in those other videos, they can't get mad at you for taking a longer break and for resting more, right? So it was a great way to stop the clock. Anyway, my concern is, now that we've got a new administration in there, are they going to bow down to all these safety advocacy groups who are going to call the new changes to the FMCSA's hours of service rules to giving drivers too much flexibility, and then that means they're going to be driving longer, and they can drive and they can work longer, and blah, 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 and it's going to be more dangerous. Because they don't understand really the whole situation. And that's the problem. Okay, I know the Trucker newspaper, which you can get at most truck stops, which is, should be for truckers, right? They even got it wrong, and in like a front page article after the hours of service changed, they mentioned in there that some safety groups are saying, well, now truckers are going to be able to drive up to 77 hours in a week. Why are they getting this information? It's wrong, and I'll tell you why. Okay, and going by the math, okay, if you look at this, if you follow the math, they say, oh, you can drive up to 77 hours in a week. Well, no, you can't, because you can only drive a maximum of 11 hours per day. They're just going, okay, 11 times 7, 77. Right, but we're still limited to 70 hours in 8 days. Okay? So we can't go any more than 70 hours unless we do a 34 reset. Well, within 8 days, to do that 34 and squeeze that in before the 8th day, that only gives us just over 6 days to drive, which is 66 hours. Even if you were able to squeeze in a few more hours on that half day, still you're going to be just banging over a little over 70. But then you got to do 34 off, which means by the time you've done the 34 off, you're into that 8th day again. So no, you can't drive that much in a week. Do the math. And these groups just look at the basic figures. They don't take into the whole picture. But I'm just afraid, with the new administration, that they'll, because Democrats tend to lean more, to that side that cows down to these groups, safety groups, and they may roll back our rules, which I sure hope they don't do, because they finally gave us flexibility, and in my opinion, gives us the flexibility to get the rest we need. As I've said in other videos, if you start driving and you're 4 hours into your shift, and you're just feeling tired, well, you can stop and pull over for 5 hours and take a nap. Then once you're rested again, you can get back on the road and finish your drive. We're not always against that 14 as much as we were before, so that would force us to drive tired. Is what happened, is if we really needed to take a nap, but yet we still needed to go another X and such miles, well, we'd force ourselves to drive tired. This gives us the flexibility to not do that, and that's what people who look just at the top of the rules and don't dive down deep into it don't quite understand. And unfortunately, it's a lot of the people who do stuff like that, who don't really look into it, are the ones who are the loudest and scream the most, and might make people like the current administration now, well, not current, the new one, count it down to that. Let's just hope they don't, okay? That's my main concern, because I think these rules finally give us the flexibility we need, and it gives, I know, at least in my opinion, gives me the ability to drive safer, and I'm not having that 14 just banging on my head and feel like, well, I got to just keep going, or it's going to be an issue. Okay, and one other thing, because it took days and days for them to finally come down to the president, get the president. I kept watching the CBS feed on Prime Video. I get so annoyed at people using words incorrectly. And so many people kept saying, oh, they're voting Democratic. They're voting Democratic. No, they're voting Democrat. They're voting Republican. You can vote Democratic if you're being Democratic. If you're voting at all, you're being Democratic. We live in a democratic society. So by voting, you're being Democratic. Yeah, but who are you voting for? So when they kept saying, oh, they're voting Democratic, okay, right, we all are. So who are they voting for? You don't say Republicanatic. You don't say they're voting Republicanly. But why do they keep saying they're voting Democratic? They're voting democratically. That's not correct. And yet the news people get it wrong all the time. You're voting Democrat, you're voting Republican. Democratic is a description of our society. We live in a democratic society. You don't vote Democratic if you're voting for a Democrat, you're voting Democrat. You vote Republican. Just one of my pet peeves, gotta throw that out there. And that's just like in Big Ahole Trucker, he and I had a little skirmish there for a while, but Big Ahole, he had it nailed down when he talked about people saying, oh, well, he's driving 53 miles an hour. And his big complaint was, it's miles an hour. And Big Ahole Trucker, I agree with you right there. It's miles an hour. Yes, you drive 75 miles an hour. You vote for a Democrat. You don't vote Democratic. So, a little shout out to you, Big Ahole. I agree with you on something, believe it or not, you know. So, hey, just wanted to say hey. Okay, now shifting gears, I did want to say on my, full review of the Garmin OTR 1000, that was 49 minutes long. I told you it'd be long. But afterwards, I said I could probably do another half hour on the damn thing, and I could. The one thing I could not figure out is I had said in there, I see no way to advance the trip. If you're in the middle of a trip and you want to advance it, before you just touch the top bar, pull up the list on the left, and you hit the new location and say go. Well, the go's not there anymore. So I was saying I'm going to have to look into this or talk to Garmin. Well, somebody threw a comment up on the channel here and said, here's how to do it. So let me show you how. Okay, so let me show you how to do that. Here we are, we're on the main screen, and say, you're already at your location, you want to advance to maybe to the next one. Here I can go back down. I put in, whoops, it moved on me. Put in the pilot right nearby as the next location, just so we'd have something to refer to, okay? So now if you want to advance ahead past that, you used to touch the top bar, okay? And then you'd go down in your list and you'd find the next location, and you'd just tap on that, and a go button would appear somewhere and you could just go. Well, now you can't do that. So here's how you do it on the new OTR 1000/800. Go to 3 dots over here, hit that, okay, then look up at the top, edit route, you touch that, and look, skip next destination, it's right there. Travel Centers of America, so I can say, yeah, let's skip that one. And then it pulls it up, shows you where you are, and you touch the little skip button down here, and it moves on.
Right, then take the first right.
Tolls are required. No, we don't want to worry about don't want to worry about avoiding the tolls. So it moves on. Well, let's say, hey, we even wanted to skip that one too. Okay, so I touch that one again. We're going to skip that pilot, and we touch the edit route, skip next destination, skip, okay, and it moves on.
Right, then take the first right.
So now it's going to take us to the final destination. So that's how you do that. Oh, and by the way, I did get a couple of messages from different subscribers. Apparently, Keep Truckin' has finally now got their crap together. So I wanted to at least say that. I talked to my buddy Jim, who he runs PeopleNet, and they still haven't got it completely together. It won't stop their clock on the 2 or 3 hour break or whatever first. It only stops after they've completed both, which is not correct. And apparently some of the other ELD companies are still doing it that way. They still haven't figured it out. That's not correct. It stops the clock on at least 2 hours. Keep Truckin' apparently got it right. I don't run it personally. Everybody else in my company who doesn't have a 99 or older engine does. So I'm going to have to get some more verification on that, but apparently they've got it together. They're one of the fews. One of the few. Hey, thanks for tuning in. As always, please subscribe, please like, please comment, blah, blah, blah. Hey, ring the bell for notification. Lots more videos coming up. I've got a whole bunch I want to get done. I want to redo my dash cam video about the Rexing. It's been operating great now, I think coming up on 3 years. Alright, so that's a great dash cam. The ones you can get at the truck stop, don't buy them. They're trash, and I'll tell you more about that in that video. Also, I want to do my, 9-month in review of my Ultimate Purple seat cushion. I'll tell you, we'll ride without it. I've got that video coming up, and a whole bunch more stuff on the way. And so, thanks for tuning in to everything you have so far, and thanks to everybody who's commented on all my hours of service videos. I'm still getting comments about those. Somebody just corrected me on something about the personal conveyance. It does say in the third sentence under personal conveyance on the FMCSA website, you can be laden, and it doesn't have a limit on that. It says just as long as it's not advancing the load or benefiting the company. So you could pull your trailer over to a Target and do some shopping if you wanted to. It's just harder to find parking would be the only issue on that. Over 200 videos on this channel, everything and anything related to trucking, and some having nothing to do with trucking at all. So go check all those out. Hey, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Clutch and Rusty, out.